Friday morning. Friday morning, man, I'm doing it. This is the earliest live that I've ever done. Well, I think I've done like some 2 or 3 a.m. lives, but anyway, good morning. For me, it is 0500 East Coast time, 0500. Good morning, good evening, good night, whatever time it is for you on the replay gang. This video is really for the replay gang. I've just had something on my mind, and I've been a part of multiple conversations, and I just wanted to get it off my chest. And I figured, you know what, I'll just knock out a live this morning. Backwoods, good morning, what's up? Sitting at the 90 in Oklahoma. Yeah, I'm sitting at a 92, Backwoods. Jim, what's up? Did you get loaded? John Huntley, good morning, good morning. Happy Friday morning, happy payday. Hopefully it's a happy payday for a lot of you, if it is payday. My payday is Thursdays. And it was a happy payday. It was a happy payday for me. But anyway, before I get into chat, oh, you're still at the 01, that's a bummer. Let me get this off my chest before I address chat or questions or anything like that. If any of you this morning have questions. If you're in here, please hit the like button, since this is a live, to hopefully snag the attention of anybody who's waking up right now. If not, for the replay gang. This is, I think, really, really important. So I've been driving a truck for 6 years. So I'm still relatively new in this business, but that also is enough time for me to have seen multiple instances of drivers who somehow think they're going to create a shortcut for themselves to get on to bigger and better things. And when I say bigger and better things, like next level stuff in a trucking career, I'm talking about like much, like next level. And I've been in some conversations over the last few nights with a couple drivers I know. One in particular, Justin is his name, used to have a fleet with Prime a long time ago. He's down in Texas, and he's running specialized hazmat down in oil fields. Now, he's been doing this for 14 years. A lot of pain, a lot of tears, a lot of devastation, but he's in the big money now. And I'm talking, $250,000 pre-tax net, big money, 14 years. Last night, we were on a group conversation with my buddy Ray, who has a fleet of trucks with Prime Inc. 16 years with Prime. Ray has been with Prime for 16 years. Now, let me digress for a second, because it's really important based on my last video. Ray agrees with me that 2019, 20, and 21 was peak Prime in terms of the culture and all that. Now, he's been with Prime for 16 years, and he totally agrees with me. But I digress. Great conversation with him. Lots of pain, lots of tears, ups and downs, financial devastation, lots of upside. He's where he is now, 16 years. Okay. Now, I've also been on the phone over the last week or so with drivers who tried to cheat. Cheat's not the right word, but tried to skip putting in the blood, sweat, and the tears, the time. And I have some personal experience with this too. Now, I will acknowledge that this year, have some pretty damn good breathing room. In fact, I have the most breathing room that I think that I've had. Well, no, I won't. Yeah, I mean, it's hard to say. I mean, when I was running team with my wife during COVID, like, the money was pretty stupid at the time. Like, we were running all high val freight as a team truck, and all the money stayed on our truck because she was a company driver and I was, so it was really, really good. But this year for me has been pretty remarkable, like generally speaking. But that's 6 years in, right? 6 years under my belt. Go back, to 23. Go back to the first, well, actually most of 23, and I was damn near bankrupt. I went through times where I didn't know how I was going to pay my cell phone bill. I went through times where I didn't know how, like, we were behind on our car payment. You know what I mean? Like, there was pain. There was, like, the distress signal, the flare was shot up in the air. Like, it hurt. So but I've been a part of conversations with a couple drivers, and if you're watching this, and I know one or two of you might be, this is maybe not specific to you, so please don't think I'm like disagreeing with your plan or anything like that. This has been multiple conversations over the past week where it seems to me that there seems to be this impression that you can shortcut your way to that next level. And when I'm saying next level, I'm talking 150,000 net pre-tax, 160, 170, 180, 200 pre-tax net. If you're sitting there watching this, especially the replay gang, and you think that's crazy, and especially crazy at Prime, no, it's not. I'm telling you, it's not. But it is not without pain, and there's no short path to it. And it's certainly possible outside of Prime. There's a lot of avenues to that too, be it specialized, heavy hauling. If you own a truck or multiple trucks and you get into the right lanes or something like that. But that does not happen if you've only been running for 6 months or a year. That does not happen. In very rare instances, if you already knew somebody and you came to a company like Prime and you said, I'm going to get my CDL, I'm going to do my year just to get some experience, or 2 years to get some experience, and then I've got a contact or somebody that I know that's going to provide this opportunity. That's very rare. What happens most of the time, and I've seen this happen many times over the past 6 years, is someone thinks they're going to put in their year and then go to this badass local job or do this or that, and especially the local jobs. Now, there are some outliers, and some of you may have some of those outliers, but I'm telling you, if you've got that outlier, good for you, because I know drivers one driver a couple years ago had all these promises in the world about this local job. You're going to be home, you'll make twice as much money as you made at Prime, you'll be home every night. Man, this guy went and worked his full 14-hour clock out 6 days a week, doing physical, hard labor, unloading trailers at 10 or 15 stops a day. And he lasted like a month. So the money was better, and he was home every night, but he was working 6 days a week, running a full 70-hour clock out, and lasted a month. Like, it was too much. So, and I've also known, now I've known drivers. I'll give you a great example of someone who did it the patient, correct, right way, put in the time, had a plan, and that's Ross with Johnson's Logic. Johnson's Logic, he's got a YouTube channel, Johnson's Logic. He took his truck out of Prime before it was paid off, but he went and got a bank to finance the truck so that his payments were much lower. He went to Landstar, he made the right connections, and since then, in fact, last year I think he did Blink 182, and he's been touring and stuff like that with the right agents and things that he knows, and now he has both a truck and a trailer paid off. But I remember this because I was very close to him towards the end of his time at Prime. I remember the meticulous, long, month after month after month of him going through this process of business plan and working with banks. And it wasn't just, I'm just going to take my truck out of Prime willy-nilly and have this high payment. He knew that he needed to go through the process. He needed to go through the time, put in the legwork to get through a bank to finance that Volvo he has, so that it actually works when he goes on to the next thing and he's now where he is. Now, conversely, I've seen people take lease purchase trucks out of prime before they're paid off and completely collapse. Even Landstar. I know a driver who went to Landstar, made it for like 7 or 8 months, and was basically brought to ruin. Had to take the truck back to prime. And I think it only had like 6 months left or something like that before it was paid off. And he went and ran for Landstar for like 6 months and only had 6 months left to pay that truck off, and had to tail between the legs, take it back to Success Leasing and turning it. Devastated him. It's just too much, too high of a payment to be out there, running a board like Landstar or something like that. You really have to own your truck, or you have to have a very, very low payment to make something like that work. So all this to say, like, if you're getting into this industry, or if you've been in it for a couple years and you think that there's some magic shortcut to get to that next level, I'm telling you, I don't know an exact percentage, but I would say it's probably pretty close to 100% of the time there's no shortcut. If it sounds too good to be true, it most likely is too good to be true. And I'm not trying to like burst anyone's bubble or anything like that. Please, I'm a very optimistic person, generally speaking, and I want to be very positive and supportive to my friends and the people that I know. But I've put in enough time, and I have a large enough network of people of experience that I communicate and talk with on a daily basis. Like I said, I talked to Ray last night for a good couple hours, I want to say. And then I also talked to him the night before when I was sitting over there at Tyson waiting on paperwork. He's been with Prime for 16 years. I mean, the data dump he can give me of experience in running a fleet with Prime, because he has for a lot longer than I have, is incredibly valuable. So, and I talk to people like that all the time, that tell me these horror stories of trying to skip steps, and the people they know who try to skip steps and find a shortcut, and it just, more often than not, it doesn't exist. So if you're coming into this industry, or if you're at the beginning of your career in this industry, and you're trying to concoct a plan or come up with a plan of this avenue to get to that next level, whether it's specialized or whatever it may be, you want to make that 150,000 plus pre-tax net. It's certainly possible. It's not unreasonable at all. And again, those who say that's not realistic, look, I'm just telling you, you're not. It's very realistic. 160, 170, 180. Again, I know guys right now clearing 200,000 pre-tax net, even running a solo truck down in Texas, specialized hazmat freight in the oil fields. So, it's definitely possible. But all of these success stories that I know, man, they've put in 5, 6, 7, 8, 10, 14, 16 years, right? So it's just been like, it's just been so hard for me to hear. I've got like literally 5 or 6 stories over the last week or two of individuals that have, really kind of shared their heart with me on things that, again, I don't want to crash anyone's party, and I'm not trying to like rain on anyone's parade, but I just have to bite my lip. Because if it's trucking, that's the industry that you're picking to try and step up and make some big progress in your life, there's no fast way to it. And by the way, I'm not saying that it's a bad thing, or like I'm not you don't have to get to that next level, or those next few levels, that high level of trucking income. Maybe you might make 60,000, 50,000, 70,000, depends on what your needs are, and what your own lifestyle is, and all that good stuff. There's a lot of people don't need that, but I'm talking about people right now, and maybe that's some of you listening, who think that you've got this magic formula to pass over all this hardship and the sweat and the blood and the tears that I've experienced and I've gone through, and so many others have gone through, to get the same result, but much faster. Not very realistic. Not very realistic. In fact, I tried to have a shortcut. I tried to cheat the system. I thought I could do it quicker than others. Even when, years ago, people like Junior Honduras and many others who I have great respect for told me to my face, that's not going to work. You can't get there that fast. You can't do it the way you're saying that it's going to work. And they were right, and I didn't listen. And man, it fucking hurt. I paid the piper, so to speak. So, it's weird to me that I'm making a video to respond to some of the individuals who I've been talking with, and but it's something I think is relevant to a lot of people, because again, this is stuff I've heard and I've seen drivers go out there and fail for years. Of somehow they've got this plan that's just going to be able to skip over and get them to that egg, that golden egg, and again, it's just not. It's not. It doesn't work like that. If it did work like that, a lot more people would be able to get, to skip that line, to skip that work. But here's what I also say to some of you: if you are on a trajectory to get somewhere and it's really difficult and you're running into brick walls and you feel like you're in a valley and things are just beating you down, that's a part of the process. So don't let that derail you. That's what you learn from. You pick yourself up and you keep going forward. I can make 10 or 15 or 20 or 50 videos trying to explain to you guys how hard of a hit Jenna and I took in 2023, and it still would not properly describe to you how absolutely devastated we were financially. I'm just a moment of honesty with you guys, and that's just a part of the process. I didn't quit, I didn't give up, but I was beaten. I felt absolutely brutally beaten in 2023, just completely defeated. And for a lot of people, I think they would have been. In fact, I think when I came back and got back in this truck in 23, I believe I was 15,000 in the hole. 15,000 in the hole. And not only was I that deep in the hole with my fleet, I was also much deeper in the hole just in my life. Again, didn't know how to pay cell phone bill, didn't know how to pay car payment, just in a brutal spot in my life, which is horrible for a husband and a father to have to put your family through that, So not only do I stand by everything I said at the beginning of this video, but also I stand by that you can get through it. And you really should utilize that as a learning experience, because I learned so much. And those lessons and that hardship and those beatings that I took are how I'm where I am right now, which is a much, much better place. But again, it's taken me 6 years. It's taken me 6 years, and it's taken me just getting my ass kicked. There's been some amazing, incredible times, and then there's been some times where I've just got beat the fuck up. And that's a part of the process. You can't skip that. So anyway, all right, enough of that. So that's for the replay gang. If you're just joining in this morning, it's really early. Hit that thumbs up, please, and I'll stay live for a little bit. I'm early. Fortunately, they let me in here. The guy almost didn't let me in here. But he's like, your appointment's for 0700. I'm just going to let you. So I'm the only truck here that's allowed to be here right now. So pretty stoked with that. But so I've got a little bit of time. I'll hang out with you guys. You can help me burn some time. Let me make sure I'm off duty. Yeah, I am. What time is it? 5:30. Yeah. So hit that thumbs up and let's get into, let me try to catch up here. Man, I can't see shit when it's dark like this. Good morning from south side of Chicago. Good morning, Brian. Midlife trucker research and networking, just like any other industry. Yeah, midlife networking is so important, man. It's so important. Like that's honestly probably one of the greatest outcomes of this YouTube channel is that I've got like literally 200 people that I can reach out to. Like the contacts in my phone are just nuts. And they reach out to me and things like that. You know what I mean? And there's a lot of directions I could go right now. There's a lot of opportunities that I could take my trucks to right now because of the network that I have. But I have my reasons for staying with Prime right now that I talk about often on this channel, and those are good enough for me. So let's see. Morning from North Carolina Roadshow. Good morning. Oh, Roadshow, man. How you doing, Roadshow? How's your where are your miles at? I was gonna text you today, by the way, Roadshow. Which I still will, but I thought about you while I was driving this morning. Backwoods, I wish I would have started at Prime 18 years ago instead of being an anti-mega carrier asshole, but back in the day, that's how a lot of us was. Yeah, I wish I had started this a lot earlier in my life too, for sure. Midlife, too many out here think like truck drivers rather than like business people. Yeah. I've made 6 figures as a company driver my 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and 5th years in the industry. Nice. Andy, you had me at hard. Andy, I felt it in 2024. Yeah, Andy's another guy. Andy's had a lot of fleet owner experience and been with Prime for a long time, a lot of years. D's nuts. Hey, Eric, how's life? Good this morning, man. Heard the miss almost didn't let you in there either. Congrats. Not sure what you mean there, Andy. Lockbourne, Ohio. Been there a few times. 13,000 miles. Nice. Trucking life with my Filipino wife. Stopped to get fuel and just showing some love. Nice. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. So, yeah. Man, I don't know what else to add to that other than, it's almost when I'm told these stories, I cringe. I want to say that I chuckle a little bit, but I don't, because there's nothing funny about it. I cringe because I'm like, God, man, I really hope by some miracle what you're telling me is one of those rare instances where it actually works. Because if you fuck this up and go through anything like what I went through, God have mercy. You know what I mean? And it was just a bad joke after you said guard almost didn't let you in. Oh, yeah. Roadshow, it's rough. Trainer had the heat on. He sweat so bad, almost requested someone else to swear. Oh, bro, Roadshow, I could not handle that, man. I could not handle that. I have to have my truck so cool that it was 67 degrees yesterday because I sleep during the day, and I had the AC on because it was full sun and it was just heating up the top of my truck. Which, by the way, man, I've been staying south and it's been amazing. Oh my God. But, you know, after that first 2 or 3 weeks of January, the fact that I've been between 60 and 75, 78 degrees for the past 5 or 6 days since I left Grand Rapids, Michigan, has just been absolutely remarkable. I can't believe it. Like I was walking around Love's last night before I left. I was about 10:30 p.m. I got coffee. Went in, just screw around, wasting some time, brushed my teeth, took a leak. And I literally wish that I had had time to just walk around that truck stop for like 30 minutes because it was so nice outside. But yeah, Roadshow, I can't. Now, fortunately, my trainer was the same way. But I'll tell you what was bad, Roadshow, is that the second half of my TNT was getting into the early, well, it's spring really. But most of the freight that we ran in TNT was in the Southwest, and we ran across Texas. So we go across Texas, Phoenix, Yuma, Southern California. So even at that time of year, it was hot as fuck down there. And my trainer had a Freightliner, and those of you who are in Freightliners and in training right now, if you haven't been at 100 degrees plus, sleeping upstairs when the truck is parked in a Freightliner, you have no idea the hell-based fury and wrath that you face upstairs in a Freightliner when it's 100 plus degrees, because that one little vent, AC vent up there, does not do shit. Doesn't do shit, man. I sweat my ass off up there. But fortunately, my trainer, when we drove, he was the same as me. He had to have it cool. So the front AC and the back AC were just, you know, ripping when he was going down the road. It's every day. It's horrible. Yeah, man. Hey, but Roadshow, 13,000 miles, bro. You're almost half done, dude. Like I said earlier in the video, you got to pay the piper, dude. And that's just, you know, TNT is... Here's the thing about TNT. And for those who don't know, that's the training period at Prime with your CDL. So right now, I think it's 30,000 miles, right? It's been 50,000 miles, but I think it's 30,000 miles right now. And this is the case with other carriers too. It's not exclusive to Prime. But there is no other scenario like it in the world that I can think of, right? That I could even imagine. Where you take this situation that is so unnatural, and there's no other scenario in your life where you would ever put yourself in this kind of a situation, where you are in a space the size of a walk-in closet, and not even a big one, but the size of a walk-in closet with another dude or chick for weeks on end. Like, that is your world. That's where you live. It's where you eat, it's where you sleep, it's where you work. It's really bizarre because there is just no other scenario where I would ever come anywhere remotely close to putting myself through that. But you know, again, you got to pay the piper. John, I drove for a few years, early 2000s. We'll be going to Prime late March. Nice, John. Man, I was listening to a freight analyst last night while I was driving his podcast. Somehow, freight is not improving generally. Rejection rates were kind of up a little bit, but they dropped that back down this past week. But volumes are still 5% lower. Last week, volumes were 5% lower than they were the same week the year before. So freight is actually still worse than it was even last year. But I'll tell you what, John, Prime, it has made some really good moves on their contracts. And we won't get into details, but Trans Am, a lot of those moves are just really smart moves because we're right now somewhat insulated. I know some of you drivers out there with Prime would say, well, this is not working out for me right now. It's been way worse. It's been way, way worse. We are doing better, I think, than a good bulk of the trucking industry in terms of freight volumes and rates. So I don't think he made a bad decision coming back to Prime. Let's see. Any thoughts on ordering a new truck? You talking about lease purchase? Man, I think I almost want to be honest with you, Backwoods. I think it's great. I think it's fully supported. I don't think it's stupid at all. Andy, no blankets, drenched in sweat. Yeah, Andy, absolutely. Roadshow, so true. Yep. Cuddles. Fuck no, I don't want to cuddle with my trainer. Jim, Eric was all about them team showers with the student that I sexually harassed. Yes. Hell, I got my student pregnant. Well, she wasn't a student when she got pregnant, but I definitely sexually harassed. My student gave me back rubs. I could walk around the truck with my meat and 2 veg dangling out. I did all kinds of stuff with a female student that most trainers can't do. For those who don't know, she also happened to be my wife. Roadshow, yep, it's hard, but like you said, I'm almost there. Yeah, man, Roadshow, you're like, you just gotta flip a switch in your head, dude, and just, because truthfully, Roadshow, you've made it through PSD, and remember, Roadshow, when you and I sat at that table at Prime, like you had just started, right? You were in orientation or just finishing orientation. You're already halfway done, almost with TNT, bro. So, it's not going to be long before you're out there picking your own truck. What else is going on? Let's see, John. Currently a driver manager. Salary isn't cutting it for my family. Wife can't work, so here I come. Come on back, John. The water's fine. Now, unfortunately, the culture that gets bragged about on every Friday nights sucks. Prime's really, taking a bat to its own shins in terms of culture. But I feel like the culture in terms of the driver community itself is kind of going through some self-healing right now through no help of Prime. And so that's good. Unfortunately, we just have some severed connections between us and Prime, but whatever, whatever. As long as the freight's good and money's flowing, then I think we can all tolerate that. It sucks that we have to. But I think it's incumbent upon us, the drivers, to strengthen the culture within the driver community. And I think I'm seeing improvements on that, gradual, little. But anyway, now I get, Roadshow, I'm not a quitter. Yeah. Andy, culture took a hit after Eric got hired. Coincidence, maybe. It wasn't after I got hired, bro. The culture was at peak towards the end of 2019. We had a Discord server with over 1,000 members. I have an email list of over 1,000 Prime drivers. It was crazy. And back then, when you had Andrea Mueller and a couple other key individuals, if somebody had if somebody went on YouTube and shared a valid concern or something like that, there were phone calls made, man. They would be like, hey, we really want to kind of address this with you. Like, next time you're in a terminal, hit me up. Let's sit down. Let's get some coffee. Let's see if we can get you connected to the right people. We may not be able to solve it, but we can at least talk it through and try to get an understanding from both perspectives. That shit was very common back then when Andrea was at Prime. And it's not just me because I was a YouTuber. She would walk the yard and have that kind of relationship with any driver. Um, and there were a couple people at Prime like that at the time. Not as valuable as Andrea, I think. But when they let her walk, and she did not want to, I promise you that. But she was up against the wall, and it's a choice she had to make. But when they let her walk, that's when it just, dude, it was. Anyway. You miss Andrea? Yeah. Yeah, I should call her. I really should. I haven't talked to her in 8 or 9 months, I think. Maybe I'll give her a call here in the next few days and see how she's going. What would be cool is if when I get back to Springfield, if I could go meet up with her and put her in a video. That would be awesome. So, okay, so now we got some early risers. Hey, 40 of you almost in here. Can we get a few more thumbs up while you guys are in here? By the way, you guys, two things. One thing I would love to have some input if anybody knows. Have any of you experienced the Loves app just refusing to do Loves Pay at the pump? Like, I can go through the whole process, and then when I say begin fueling, the transaction fails. I contact Loves, they say, oh, it's got to be Prime or Comdata. I contact Prime, they say it's not us, it's got to be Loves. Contact Comdata, yeah, there's nothing wrong here. I can get out of the truck and go to the pump, and it works just fine. But the Loves app will not succeed. This started happening like 2 weeks ago, and not once every single transaction fails in the Loves app, which is not really a problem when the weather is this perfect where I'm at, but it sucks when it's blowing wind and freezing cold. Wonder if any of you gone through that. The second thing is I have a 24 trailer, which is dog walking, of course. And I was really bummed to see some say that the 26 trailers dog walk worse than the 24 trailers. That's a buzzkill. But this trailer passed a pre-trip, but it will not get to temp. It's at the temp is set at -10. It will not do better than -1 or 2, which means it used 16 gallons of fuel in 24 hours. So I'm ready to get this shit unloaded and pass this hot potato off to someone else, because it passes pre-trip just fine. There's no air flowing out of the plugs. I've checked the plugs. In fact, I put paper towel on this side because this side was a little bit open. I checked all the seals. There's nowhere that there's cold air that's escaping from the trailer, but it's just running high RPMs and can't get below. I think the lowest I've seen it in 24 hours is -3. So when I pulled into Loves this morning close to this receiver to top it off, it was under half a tank. I was like, what the fuck? Backwoods, my app never works for fueling. Oh man, I hope that this just isn't my new reality. Imagine a day. I've been driving long enough to remember that there was a time where there was no apps that did your fueling. I think Pilot Flying J was doing a little provide a code thing maybe in 20 or 21. But definitely wasn't Loves Pay when I started. But it's just funny because now I'm like, man, that would suck to not be able to use the apps for, like, it pisses me off to have to get out at Loves. The steering wheel holder shit right there. Let's see, haven't talked to her since she left. I followed her on YouTube for a bit. Tell her I said hi and that she can have my number. Yeah, I will. I talked to her, I'm pretty sure it was like 8 months ago. It would have been in the fall. I want to say October maybe. So maybe shorter. Silky, do you get your actual CDL license card at Prime, or you have to go back to home, then to DMV? You have to go back to home. It didn't used to be that way, Silky. When I started, everybody got their permit in Springfield or Salt Lake City or Pittston. So you got a Missouri, if you came to Springfield, when I came through orientation, you got a Springfield permit. And then when you pass the CDL test, you got a Springfield, or a Missouri, not a Springfield permit, a Missouri permit. When you pass the CDL test, you got a Missouri CDL, driver's license. And then you took that CDL to your home state at some point over 30 or 60 days or whatever, and exchanged it back to your state, you know. But that's what everybody did. So it made orientation much crazier, because not only did you have to, you know, do your pre-trip and all that stuff, your backing maneuver, all that stuff, is as part of your orientation. You didn't even know if you're going to be able to pass the permit test. They loaded us all up in shuttles, and there were like 115 students in my class, and there were 2 classes that week. So there's over 200 people in Springfield when I came, and none of them had a permit. They all had to be shuttled to the DMV. But I believe now you, yeah. Jim, you have to go back home, yeah. Andy, the cold air is escaping from the hole you put in the roof, yeah. It's from that bridge I hit. Bandit, I went lease out of TNT, trained, saved my money, ordered my Peterbilt, and been grinding these years and almost paid off. Those weeks where you work and still go negative has been a struggle. Yeah, Bandit, but your world's going to change when that truck is paid off, man. One Eye Jack's morning, but I'm at beginning. Oh, you're at so you went back to start at the beginning? Sorry, guys, I have to get some nicotine on board. I'm on the fence of ordering a Peterbilt. Everyone is telling me to get a Freightliner, but I want Peterbilt for the ride. People say they stay in a shop. Backwoods, if I was going solo, if I was going to be solo, that's a hard one to say, man. I'd like to think that I would, you know, I say at the end of my videos, make good decisions, always drive, thrive. Maybe it's not the good decision strictly economically would be to order a Freightliner. That's the good decision economically. Now, the new Pete's are pretty competitive fuel-wise with a Freightliner. I've had some drivers tell me there's zero difference, and then I've had drivers tell me there's still a difference. I think they're pretty competitive. That's not as big a deal as it was a few years ago. But I will tell you that if my Peterbilt breaks down on a Friday night, he's pretty much fucked. Like he's not going to be getting any resolution on a Friday night. In this truck, for a lot, if not everything, but a lot of things that could break down, I could just go to a Love's or a TA for warranty work. So just in terms of downtime. Also, I know guys that have two different people have offered to buy this truck from me. I have an open $75,000 cash offer right now for this truck. I don't know anybody right now who's buying Peterbilts. So, you know, I think strictly from an economic perspective, a Freightliner may be a better decision. But again, this is your life and comfort matters. There's a Peterbilt is just a much more elegant truck. It's a much more elegant truck to have to live and work in. I think they're more elegant in terms of backing. They're much more comfortable to drive. I'm going to go with a different nicotine delivery system. So, you know, it's tough for me to say. I've kind of kicked around the idea of ordering another truck this year. And I would kind of tell myself, well, I should order a Freightliner, but then if I actually ended up ordering another truck, I don't know. It's tough. It's tough. Let's see. Brian, if you had to pull different freight, what would it be? If I had to pull different freight? If I had to pull different freight. Well, I don't know, because the only good opportunities that I know that have been offered to me right now, without going to something like Specialized or without going to hazmat, is refrigerated freight. Or something, I do have opportunities, or I have had opportunities presented to me to go on a tour, or to get on the tour circuit. But that would have me away from my wife and son for far too long than I'm willing to be. So, you know, that's a hard question for me to answer. I don't really know how to answer it. I've never thought about that in the way that you're asking it. Bandit, you're right. No shortcut to success. Almost done. I'll be home in San Antonio in first week of March. Breakfast tacos on me. Yeah, man, it's kind of warm down there, bro. Bandit, I hope this summer is not like the summer of 23. My God, man. Summer of 23 in San Antonio was just, I think we went like 5 months without a drop of rain that summer. Because I was a yard dog for, up until June. And I want to say there was like 3 or 4 months up until June that there was not a drop of rain. Full sun every damn day. June on his Nokia phone. Yeah. Now the trucks are showing up. San Antonio breakfast tacos. Yeah, I'd wait 90 days till Trump fixes everything before ordering a truck. Andy, maybe not be a bad idea. I know you're trying to poke at me, Andy. But man, you and I just disagree. I think Trump is fixing a lot of shit right now. I love, other than the weird Gaza thing, I love every single thing he's doing. I'm blown away that he's been this aggressive and this fast. Like, I'm just blown away. Like, I had hoped that he would get in there and take a wrecking ball to it all, but I never thought he would do it this much, this fast. Backwoods, I was looking at Freightliners, and they don't have the option to order it with the visor over the... Really? They don't have that, Backwoods? That's horrible to take that option away. Why? Maybe it's because they just come with it now. I would ask. I wonder if that's just standard spec now. I would ask that, because, man, I would not want a Freightliner without the visor. Mr. Not Nice, good morning. Man, at 100 degrees in the black truck is tough. Yeah, it is. My trainer had a black truck. Brown jacket, yay, going through Chicago now. I hate to hear that, man. That makes me cringe. See, it is 4:50 on a Friday morning in Chicago. Oof. Oh boy. Mr. Not Nice, I think the 26 comes with a standard visor yet. Yeah, okay. That would make sense to me, because that would be full retard to not be able to order a visor with it. Silky, I'm glad he's doing his thing. I'm tired of the whole identity is blah, blah, blah. I'm not sure what you mean there. Yeah, I lived in Chicago for 10 years, man. I lived in Chicago for 10 years, and I had a commute in the morning, so my morning just started at 3:30, period, because I just was not going to drive in that shit every morning. Now, granted, I lived right downtown Chicago. I lived at 14th and State, for anybody who's familiar with Chicago. I also lived in Wrigleyville earlier, but the last place I lived was at 14th and State. Actually, it was State and Roosevelt, but 14th is like one block south of Roosevelt. So right there off the loop. And so I had a train like right behind my building, you know. So that helped, because I could jump on the CTA red line and go and get to anywhere really quick. But if I had to drive somewhere, if I had to go like on a Dan Ryan or something, nope. Not during rush hour. Let's see. 26 is a new body style. I haven't seen a new body style. Is it pretty different? Brian, Valentine's Day coming up, boys. Anyone else getting their significant other a carton of eggs? Oh, Brian. Did you guys see that video of how fast that those pallets of eggs went at Costco? Like they just brought out the pallets and they just got destroyed right away. Mr. Not Nice whines about his Volvo sitting too high all the time. Pronouns, mixed bathrooms, LOL. Andy, Eric lived on the corner of 14th and State and only wore short skirts. Man, you can't wear a short skirt in the winter in Chicago. You gotta have like tights on. You can't just wear, open-toed heels. You gotta have the high heel boots, no stilettos. You can't wear a short skirt in Chicago in the winter. And Jim, screw Chicago, I never want to go back there yet. Yeah. Jim had a nightmare load situation in Chicago. Mr. Not Nice, I'm doing a lease purchase on my Volvo, and the shop tells me that's a bad choice, so I went down the list with all the trucks that Prime owns and said which ones are in the shop most, and the Volvo. Yeah, we knew someone who ordered a brand new, or I don't think they ordered it, but they got a brand new Volvo at Prime, and it caught on fire on their first trip. It caught on fire at a shipper in, I want to say Fayetteville or Springdale. So they got dispatched. They were a team truck, husband and wife. They got dispatched down to Springdale, I think, and their shit caught on fire on their first trip. They were so proud of it too. In fact, his wife went through orientation with my wife. So he and I kind of got close because we went through the training class at the same time. So both he and I went to the training class while our wives were in orientation. And man, all he talked about was Volvo. Volvo, Volvo. I want a Volvo. Can't wait to get a Volvo. And they finally got one 4 or 5 months later, and that shit caught on fire on the first. They got it out, and it got towed back to Prime, and they got out of the lease. It was like pretty serious shit. Mr. Not Nice was number 2 on the list of reliability, with number 1 being Freightliner. Reliability, yeah, okay. Well, Volvo kind of has the same problem as Peterbilt, in that they generally kind of have to go back to the dealership a lot more than the Freightliner does. Brown Jack, I do this route like 4 times a week. Mr. Not Nice, now the Volvo wasn't in shops compared to the Peterbilt Kenworth International. Oh, International, don't even, Andy, like, pick on him because he complains about Freightliner drivers dropping trailers too low. Yeah, Andy talks a lot of shit, you guys. Andy's a friend. He is maximum shit talker. Mr. Not Nice, okay, I got that one. Andy couldn't keep my International out of the shop. Yeah, that's all I hear is International, just constant. Bandit, Angie's Mexican Food in San Antonio and the South Side Hidden Gem. Man, there's some good Mexican food in San Antonio. Mr. Not Nice, these 25 Freightliners have transmission issues, do they? Andy's a rookie. He is not a rookie. Andy is a lot of things, but he's not a rookie. Andy, we were talking about your mobile shitter setup last night, Jenna and I. Because here's why. Okay, if you've made it this far, especially the replay gang, here's something you can all laugh at my expense. So I delivered to Brundage, that Walmart in Brundage, Alabama, a few days ago. Which, if longtime subscribers, you might remember my story that I told a long time ago about the time that nature called at the worst time ever for me. When my truck sensors were going off, my truck was forcing to shut down right when I left Brundage, Alabama, that Walmart, and I had to pull over on the side of the road. It was 100 degrees outside, humid. My truck's making me shut down, and nature called right at that moment on the side of a road. And it wasn't like, nature wasn't like, hey, let's have a discussion about this. Nature was like, motherfucker, you're gonna figure this out right now, because it's happening. And so I drove past that spot the other day, and it made me reminisce about how bad that situation was. So last night, while I was sitting around waiting to leave, I'm looking at camp toilets on Amazon because that spot reminded me of that situation. So Jenna goes into our Amazon account and she's like, you're looking up camp toilets? You got problems? I was like, no, I just drove past that place in Brundage a couple mornings ago, and it reminded me, hey, that was a bad situation you had to go through. For those who don't remember the story, I'll tell you real quick. Dude, my truck had to be shut off immediately. I couldn't get the AC to fire up fast enough, and I just had to figure things out. So I had this big Ziploc. I had both windows down to try to get some air in here, but it was still hot as hell and humid. And there was some air blowing, but it was just hot air coming in the windows. So I was between my two seats, which I had two seats at the time, squatting over this damn Ziploc bag, just pouring sweat, calling out for my mom, man. Like down on my arms, using muscles I didn't know existed. My legs are wobbling. Dude, it was so miserable. It was so miserable. Oh my God, man. Like, I have a good stomach, but I just couldn't escape it that day. I couldn't escape it that day. So Jenna, we got into this conversation about this situation, this camp toilet. And she's like, you need to talk to Andy. Andy's got a great setup for his emergency shitter. Oh boy. I didn't think I'd be talking about that this morning. Backwoods, I've got a 25 and haven't had any transmission problems so far. It's got 38,000 miles, so I could pop it later. Robert, what's up, Eric? I'm recovering from my knee replacement surgery. Are you ready for the snow? How's the family? Brad. Man, I've been avoiding the snow since I left Grand Rapids. I've been in literally 70-degree days every day since I left Grand Rapids. It's 67 right now. Backwoods, not every one of them. Says Mr. Not Nice Guy. Andy, this setup I sent Jenna is fantastic for trucking, camping. Nice. Brown Jacket, because of that story, I have 2 portable shitters. I don't know why I still haven't gotten one, man. That was such a bad situation. Oh, it was such a bad situation. It just made me question everything with my life in that moment. Just like, what am I doing with myself? Why Why am I in this scenario? Backwoods, I noticed 25 rides a lot better than the 21 did. V300, good morning. Bandit emergency toilet has saved me 3 times already, worth every dime. Yeah, I gotta get one. That was a long time ago, I think. Wasn't that like last summer? But just seeing the place where it happened was enough for me to be like, oh, I need to make sure that doesn't ever happen again. Andy, I got called to a dock one time, got out on the road from staging and pulled the brake, barely making the trash can. Bro, Andy, that was that situation. In fact, when that sensor crashed and my truck was telling me it was about to shut down, I was on my way to a Love's. I was trying to get to that Love's as fast as possible. That Love's just east of Brundage. I think it's in Ozark, Alabama, I want to say. I was trying to get to that Love's as fast as possible. So I was already like fighting it, you know, as best as I could. And then my truck, the coolant sensor, you know, did its thing, and my truck started threatening to shut down. I actually shut the truck down, got up, raised the hood, because I figured, you know, I'd try to figure out but by the time the hood opened, I was right back in the truck as fast as possible. And yeah. And it was just, you know, it was just game on. It was game on. Silky, what's the worst road you drove? I don't know about the worst road. I mean, there's some really bad roads. I would say the one that pisses me off the most, and I don't even know if it's the worst, it just pisses me off the most, is that stretch when you come into Indiana on I-70 out of Ohio. I can't understand how that is so bad, and there's been zero improvement to it over the last. They constantly are making improvements to it, but it doesn't improve it. It just frustrates the hell out of me. And then I saw an Indiana senator or someone had an interview sometime last year, or maybe it was longer, but they're like, oh, well, you have to realize we're in the middle of the country. We have so much traffic through here. And it's like, then why does Ohio's 70 not have that problem? Why is it when you come out of Indiana into Ohio, it's like pulling the sword out of the stone, and the light comes from the sky and the road becomes smooth? It's the same damn highway right in the middle of the country. How is that possible? And then you cross into Illinois, and 70 is a lot better in Illinois. So that's bullshit. That's no excuse. I think there's, like, over there in Kingman, I don't know if it's still that bad because I haven't been west of Denver for 3 or 4 years. But over there, you know, between Kingman and California is really bad too, or at least it used to be. And some Arizona roads are really bad and beat up. But for some reason, that stretch of 70 between Ohio and Indianapolis, man, I'm literally angry that entire stretch. Backwoods paperwork is ready. Have a good morning. Yeah, you too. Have a good morning, man. Thanks for stopping in. 412, what's up? I'm about to get off here, 412. Favorite state to drive through? Probably Nebraska. Now, and that's if the weather's good. If there's no wind. Some people need scenery and all that shit. Look, I'm a night rider. I only drive at night. So for me, I don't get the scenery no matter what. So give me a straight, flat, easy, nice, smooth road. I would say crossing Nebraska is like, that would probably be my favorite. 412, just getting up, about to leave this pilot in Houston, going to pick up some pipe from the cartel. You go lay some pipe, 412. Jacob, Brandon, Interstate 68. Yeah. Andy, yep, I was going to say 70. I agree with that, Andy, for sure. Yeah, exactly. They open construction, Andy, and it feels like, so they'll fix yeah, exactly. They fix a dip in the road by making a bump in the road. And then they fix bumps in the road by making dips in the road. And they're not just, they're violent too. They're violent dips and bumps. It's not just your truck doing this. It's violence. Brown jacket, Indiana roads suck ass. Yes, sir. Robert, are you going to watch the Super Bowl? I think KC is going to win. I believe I'll be home. No, that's this weekend, right? I don't know if I'll be able to watch it, but I'm rooting for the Eagles just because A, I hate Kansas City, and B, my buddy Hopper is die-hard Eagles fan. Die-hard, so I gotta go that way with it. 412 Pete, booty judge, was head of the DOT and didn't even think to fix his own state. Yeah, oh yeah, he was from Indiana, right? Gary. Andy Kingman is under construction right now. I wonder if they actually fix it. 412, yeah, I knew what you were going to say. Booty judge. No, I'm not land pipe. There's a place called Wombly Pipe. It's for the oil fields, but I swear it's ran by the cartel. Nobody speaks English. Everybody walks around long sleeves and shiesty mask. Even when the temp is 120 out. Yeah. All right, guys. It's 6:15. I'm going to go see if there's somebody here and see if I can get this trailer unloaded. I'll be glad to get rid of this one, man. They had way too much weight in the tail. In fact, I had to ride dirty for a little bit of the ways because I was going through some towns with some really tight turns on the back roads between Alabama and Georgia, and I wasn't about to do it in a 12th hole. So I rode dirty for a little while, and then I found a place where I could pull over on the side of the road and push it to the 12th hole. But even in the 12th hole, it's still 4,000 pounds heavier on the trailer than it is on the truck. And this damn reefer just cannot get down to -10. It just can't do it. So it hasn't shut off since I've had this load. Be safe. Yeah, you too, man. Does Prime run up to Alaska? No, we do not. We go into Canada. And you usually give Alaska to A Fleet. Yeah, there's some brokered stuff. There's some brokered stuff, and I think there's some stuff. But if you're just on a standard lease, you ain't going to Alaska. Like if you're on a lease or lease purchase, or running Prime's main freight network, you ain't going to Alaska. I knew a guy who, this was a long time ago, like 5+ years ago. I knew a guy who had a dedicated route running one pallet with 4 barrels of concentrated liquid Viagra. One pallet. That's what he ran between Canada and the States. Boner juice. He had a full reefer trailer for 1 pallet of boner juice. And that's all he ran. Oh, man. I thought that shit was fun anyway. I'm seeing some other trucks show up, and I don't like that. I was first, bitches. And my appointment's at 0700, which is the first appointment. So I'm going to go try to throw some elbows and make sure I'm in my place. Lynchburg, Virginia, Matthew, always love the channel. Thank you, appreciate that. Andy, my team ran a single 5-gallon bucket of concentrated berries for 9K going to Ben & Jerry's. Yeah, Andy, I've run some ingredients for Ben & Jerry's that was like nothing, like 1 pallet, and they pay great. That's crazy. Andrew, BLC, they run some Prime contracts in Alaska. Yeah. All right, guys, I appreciate it. Good morning to everyone who's getting started. Good night to everyone who's shutting down. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning to everyone who's on the replay. Appreciate you guys stopping in, helping me kill some time. Be safe, make good decisions.